This is me and this is my friend Jordan. Today we're going to attempt to survive 200 days of hardcore Minecraft. If either of us die, we have to start over. Can we both survive the full 200 days? Stay tuned to the very end to find out. If you haven't watched the first 100 days, then make sure you go and check it out. We slayed the Ender Dragon, got a full set of netherite tools and armor each, and defeated the Wither. In this 200 days, we want to both get an elytra, conquer a raid, and set up a full beacon. YouTube's analytics say that only a very small percentage of you guys who watch my videos are actually subscribed, so do me a huge favor and click the red subscribe button down below. It's 100% free and you can always change your mind later. Also guys, if we hit 300 likes, we will record 300 days. Are you ready? Let's get straight into day 101. In day 101, we took in our surroundings and looked at the world that we'd left behind from the first 100 days. We jumped down and did some farming, we farmed some essential crops and replanted them. Came across a travelling trader who welcomed us back to our house, but he was a pretty unfortunate one as we took him out. We then decided to take down the unfinished barn. It was a bit of an eyesore and Jordan didn't really like the design anyway. We finished off the day by preserving some of our armor. Because we didn't have mending on all our armor yet, we didn't want to break it, so we replaced it with some diamond armor. On day 102, we destroyed our existing wall that kept us safe. We wanted to improve this, but we had to take it down first. We also got some wood for the barn project. This literally took all day. We got spruce, oak and dark wood, and at the end of the day, we went to sleep. On day 103, we secured our perimeter of our new compound. We made our land much bigger and built a much better looking wall. On a day 104, we put pillars on the walls. And I ran around and lit up the area so no mobs could spawn. We also found a zombie villager. I tried to turn it back into a normal one, but I haven't played Minecraft in so long that I didn't know how. I gave it an instant health potion and it died. It began to rain as it turned to night time, so we did a little rain dance in hopes it would go away. And luckily for us it did, and we set light to the forest. After the great fire of Minecraft, on day 105 we finished the wall. Jordan worked on making the entrances and we had a very nice view when we walked in. Whilst he did this, I went to the nearby village that we had to see if there was any leftover villagers, and there was only one. I got him in a boat and I brought him straight over to the building that we'd have our automatic smelter in, and he looked pretty happy. Jordan also made a fountain, and I got a nice little clip of this as the sun was setting. On day 106 there was another zombie villager, which meant that there was another zombie villager fail. I brewed some weakness potions, and instead of actually feeding him the golden apple, I just threw it at him. Yes guys, I am an ultimate noob. I also tried to get our normal villager to turn into a librarian, but he was having absolutely none of it. I thought I tried absolutely everything, and Jordan even came and helped me, so I stared him straight into the eyes and I took him out live. Days 107 to 110 we had the barn build. Jordan did a great job of this, and I also worked on my own little project. By day 111, Jordan had finished building the barn and it looked absolutely beautiful. Big up Jordan in the comments section down below. And as you may have seen in that little time lapse towards the end, you may have seen a new building in our land. I finished it off myself with a bit of help from Jordan, and this is what I had come up with. A medieval tower to be the centerpiece of our compound. Day 112 we worked on moving the animals into the barn. I took the sheep over whilst Jordan grabbed the cows, and once they were in, we breeded them so they would make more. Day 112 was also the day that the bug was fixed for my hardcore hearts. The developers of the server finally managed to get the hearts to show as hardcore, so no more of you guys can comment down below that this isn't hardcore. On day 113 we wanted to go to the end, so I brewed some slow falling potions to hopefully keep us safe. We went to the end to explore more end cities and complete our first goal of getting myself, along with Jordan, an elytra. I threw my first elytra off in the first 100 days and Jordan hadn't got one yet. Days 114 to 115 were literally spent travelling around the end, and on day 115 we finally found one. There were many shulkers guarding the towers, but we took them out in due time. I built up to the very top and took out the shulkers with my bow from range, built over and took my elytra. I then spent day 116 flying around the end to find another end city, and I finally found another end ship. After taking out the shulker that was guarding it, I retrieved Jordan's first elytra. I flew straight back to him and I gave him his pair of wings. We then flew back towards the portal, but we stopped off to get some XP to repair our armor first. On day 117 we got back home and the first thing I did was make some shulker boxes. Altogether we now had 11, which would be crucial for any big builds we want to do in the future. I also repaired my elytra and gave it a cool name. And I added Unbreaking 2 to it so it would have more durability. Because my boots were getting low, I decided to place them with some diamond ones, and I actually got a very nice enchant on it. On day 118 we searched for another village. We eventually found one, and it turns out it was the same one that we found the mending villager at. We grabbed a villager each, got him in a boat, and started travelling back home. We spent days 119 through to 123 travelling thousands of blocks with the villagers in our boats. On day 120 I came across a shipwreck, didn't have any good loot, so we continued. On day 122 I found a dolphin that was trapped on land, and I helped it back into the water. Day 123 was the day that we finally got home, and it felt like we were travelling forever. We hopped out of our boats and we made a temporary house for the villagers to stay in. We finally got both villagers in and they were both safe. On day 124 we bred the animals in their new barn, and Jordan worked on building the auto smelter in our blacksmith's room. As you can see, he did a great job. From days 125 to 128, Jordan went mining while I designed a room for the villagers. This would be where they'd breed, and we could get more and more villagers over time. On day 129 we moved the villagers down to their new home underground. We threw a lot of food at them in hopes that they would breed, and Jordan actually caught it on camera of the first baby villager. Day 130 we spent getting wood. Day 131 we spent getting sand. After doing lots of farming, on day 132 we visited the villagers and they had been busy making babies. Did a couple of flint trades for emeralds, and then I did some potatoes. We got a lot of emeralds from this, so on day 133 I did some more trading with the villagers and ended up getting a mending book. I applied this mending book to my legs and I was now able to wear them as they had mending on them. On day 134 we fed more villagers so they breed even more, and they were multiplying by the day. I got another mending book, and even though I didn't have enough XP, Jordan did, and he applied it to my elytra. And then by the end of day 134 we began working on our farms. We had to bone meal the beetroot so we could get more seeds, and from days 135 to 139 we built some man-made farms. On day 140 I visited downstairs and we now had an empire of villagers. We farmed some crops and we made some trades happen. We wanted to get full mending sets as soon as possible to be fully protected. I applied mending to my helmet and I had another mending book for my boots, but I didn't have enough XP. On day 142 we needed more XP. For some reason I took my elytra off and we went through to the end. Pay close attention to what happens next. I jumped into the void, and the series was over. Or was it? This is the most insane clutch I've ever seen or done on Minecraft. I managed to really quickly get my elytra back on as I was taking damage and falling into the void, and I flew to safety. I didn't want to be in the end anymore and flew straight back to the portal where I knew I'd be safe at home. Comment down below GG for that absolutely insane clutch. On day 143, we'd finally regained some composure and we jumped straight back through the end to get the XP that we needed. We took an anvil with us, and once I got enough XP, I added the mending book to my boots. I now had a full set of netherite protection 4 mending armor. This was absolutely critical. We didn't have to use diamond armor anymore. Once we got back from the end, we were greeted by another zombie villager, but I was absolutely dead set on making sure this one worked. I gave him a name tag. At Jordan's request, we called him Jeff. And we had done it. I got the zombie doctor achievement on day 144 and he turned into a normal villager. I then took him down towards the villager breeding room, but a baby zombie jumped in the boat, and as we took it out, Jeff bolted off. We ran upstairs to look for him, and as Jordan ran back down, he'd found him sitting in a corner. Clearly he was scared for his life. After that escapade, we then got Jeff into the villager breeding room and he was united with his new family. Day 145, I made a safer entrance to our nether portal so that pigmen could not get into the overworld anymore, and I thought I did a pretty nice design. On day 146, I repaired my shovel and we dug out an area for the villager trading hall. After we dug it all out, from days 147 to 148 we spent decorating. Jordan opted for the quartz design, and overall I think it looked really cool. On day 149, Jordan dyed all the sheep red, and I went to the nether to get some glowstone. On day 150 we'd finished decorating the villager trading hall, and it was now time to get all the villagers in. This took us a long time, but eventually after a bit of teamwork, me and Jordan managed to get all the villagers in to their own little pens. We did this all the way through to day 155. Days 156 and 157 we did some more building in the farmlands. Jordan built an amazing windmill, and I worked on some mini canopy designs for our pumpkins and melons. Day 158 I took a trip to the barn and I breeded the animals, and after doing this I slaughtered the cows. After I'd finished, there were no adult cows left, so we needed them to grow. I was fed up of eating potatoes and I wanted to eat some steak. On day 159 we changed the cobblestone borders of our farms into cobblestone walls, and on day 160 we had the murder of the villagers. So many villagers escaped and were loose around our land, so we had to slay them all out. I placed some more beds down in the villager breeding room, and we had to start all over again with 2 villagers. On day 161 we did some more farming. We gave a load of carrots to our villagers, and maybe it was a bit too much. However, they did take it and we gave them stacks on stacks. On day 162 we killed all of our stubborn villagers and we moved the new ones in. This took us 2 days all the way through to 163, but eventually we had done it. We spent the next 3 days from 164 till day 167 rolling the trades of the villagers. We wanted to get different trades for each villager, and the best ones at that. On day 168, we'd finally done it. Our villager trading hall was all set up. On day 169, after the stress of sorting so many villagers out, doing so much basic and essential work, we wanted a challenge, something that would keep us on our toes. We got some fireworks and we headed out in search of a woodland mansion. This would be great preparation for when we conquer a raid. On day 170 we found the jungle, but I was only able to find one panda. I wanted to see if I had the same luck of the first 100 days that you guys mentioned of me finding a rare brown panda. I didn't even know those were rare, but a big shout out to everyone in the comments who let me know. On day 171 we kept flying and we finally found a woodland mansion. We landed on top, Jordan broke through the roof, and we jumped in and took on all the pillagers inside of the mansion. We did this all the way through the night of 171 and 172, and we eventually got Totems of Undying. This made us feel so much more safe, as if we did die, it would regenerate our hearts, and we'd be able to go for round 2. As we got them though, Jordan nearly died, but we were able to fend off the pillagers, and as a reward, we took the books from their library. As the sun was setting on day 172, we did some dancing on the roof, as this mansion was ours now. On day 173, we thought that a quicker way of getting home would be through the Nether. 1 block in the Nether is 4 blocks in the Overworld, so we began flying around and we looked for anything that might be familiar. We found a Nether fortress that we'd clearly been to before, as the chests were looted. And we found some cobblestone pillars and eventually found our way home from that. As we travelled back through the portal, we did the space bubble achievement. We then ran back home and went straight to bed after a very long day of travelling. On day 174, we dug out a big hole underneath the windmill. This space was going to be used for more farms, but mainly automatic ones, so we didn't have to work as hard and get them all manually. From the flick of a lever, we'd be able to get all of our crops very simply. Day 176, I did something that I probably should have done a while ago, and if we wanted to get a full beacon by the end of day 200, we needed an iron farm. Whilst I did this, Jordan worked on an automatic sugarcane farm. And at day 177, we tested out the automatic wheat farm to see if it would work. I went to go get my villagers for the iron farm, but they had been zombified. 2 zombies were inside, they'd obviously spawned inside as it wasn't light enough, and they got in the boats with my villagers. I took out the zombies, and I converted the zombie villagers back into normal villagers. Day 178, I built a minecart track, got them upstairs, and got them into position for where they needed to be for my iron farm. This took a little bit of time as they weren't willing to come upstairs, but eventually I did it. Day 179, I got a zombie into place. The name was inspired by my good friend Adam. We now had a zombie called Pancho. I dug down for where the chest was going to be for the iron loot. And finally, guys, I had made that iron farm. So for the rest of day 179, I stood and AFK'd it. On day 180, we found more crops, and I changed my diet up to some golden carrots. These are better for my hunger, and I wouldn't need to eat as much. I then took the rest of the carrots to the villager trading hall and got as many emeralds as I could. On day 182, I made some golden apples for future fights. And I made some splash potions of regeneration that would definitely come in handy when attempting to take on a raid. We then flew off to find the pillager outpost that we'd seen earlier on in the 100 days when we were travelling to find land for our house. And after we killed the pillagers, I realised I didn't have my bow on me. So I flew back to get my bow and Jordan followed me, and the raid started inside of our compound. I don't know if this was a blessing or a curse, because this could have gone very wrong, but on day 182 all the way to day 183 we fended off the raid. The first few waves were very easy, the pillagers didn't do any damage at all, but eventually they started bringing in the rhinos, and let me tell you, these things shook me up a bit. The hardest part about the raid was probably these angels. They did a fair bit of damage and they were very hard to hit, but they weren't too much of a problem. The hardest wave came in now as I shot a rhino off the wall. He then had the ability to jump very high, and I had 2 rhinos chase me on the wall, and at this part, guys, I honestly panicked. We took them out, however, we only had 1 pillager left to kill. And eventually, guys, we had done it. We were the heroes of the village. To celebrate, we danced around on top of the tower as we had conquered the raid and we were now kings of our kingdom. On day 184, I realised that my bow needed repairing, so I did that, and whilst Jordan worked on a few buildings, I flew back to the jungle that I visited from the first 100 days to see if I could find the brown panda everyone was telling me about in the comments. I flew over mesa biomes and finally found the jungle, and I ventured straight over to the bamboo farm. After a long time of running through the bamboo farm and having no luck finding a panda, I flew off. In the corner of my eye, I saw a panda. It was a black panda. Beneath it was the brown baby panda I breeded in the first 100 days. I could not believe my luck, and as you can see by my mouth shakes, I was so excited. I fed the big panda and decided to trap them in. The big panda ended up escaping. I managed to trap the baby panda in a small enclosure. As Jordan got here towards the end of the day, the brown panda grew up, but I managed to get him enclosed again. I then got him into a boat, and it looked absolutely hilarious as he was way too big for the boat. Jordan grabbed the other panda and we began travelling home on day 185 to take them back to our land. We travelled from day 186 to 187. And as the sun was setting, we finally got them home. After sleeping, we made a little enclosure for them. And eventually, we had the pandas home safe and sound. On day 188, I spent admiring the pandas, and let me know down in the comments, guys, what should I call the brown panda? I owe it to you guys for telling me it was so rare, so I want to know what you want to call it. The most liked comment down below will be the name that I give to the panda. On day 189, I traded with the villagers for more emeralds, and on day 190, I fed the pandas bamboo. They ended up making another baby panda, and this one again was brown. We now had 2 brown pandas. The black panda jumped out, however, so instead of getting him back in, I just let him free roam. On day 191, we farmed crops manually, and we also used the automatic farms, and after this we did some more trading with the villagers. We then went up to our valuables chest and checked our emeralds, but we realised we didn't have anywhere near enough to set up a full beacon. Instead of emeralds, we had to turn our attention to the best option, which would be iron. On day 192, we spent the day getting wood, and on day 193, we built the docks. When doing this, we were still in good range of the iron farm, so it would work whilst we weren't near it. And on day 194, we finished the docks, and this is what it looked like. On day 195, I checked the iron farm, and I made as many blocks as I could. I smelted some more iron, and we were so close to getting the right amount we needed. On day 196, I visited an old friend. You guys probably haven't seen him much in the series, but this donkey being on our land has been here longer than our house. We just never tamed him. So I ended up taming him, giving him a saddle, and Jordan put a chest on him for more inventory space. Whilst I did this, Jordan built some sculptures of the villagers, and he put these near the tower. I thought they looked really cool. On day 197, Jordan worked on crafting a little something that you'll see towards the end of the video. But whilst he did this, I went on an essential mining trip for iron and coal. On day 198, I collected more iron from the farm. There was honestly so much, and it was definitely worth the build. Shout out to Shulkercraft for giving us this tutorial. On day 199, we crafted the beacon, and we ended up mining out the room where we need to place the iron for the beacon. And once we'd done this, we set it down with some glass on top, and we selected the Speed 2 ability. Jordan put some blue glass over it, and the beam was now dark blue. Challenge number 3 was complete. After doing this, we stood on our balcony and watched the sunset together. And on day 200, we ran around with some fireworks and set them off all over our land.